Hello there, it's David. Welcome or welcome back to Cross Fitness, helping men and women get in the best spiritual shape of their lives, one workout at a time. So I'm trying to get in shape here. I don't know if you can see this. I got my 10-pound weight vest on here. I've been off on the rebounder before I do my workout, just kind of get warmed up, the blood flowing and going, get some steps in. But we're talking about spiritual health here. And I got a video I'm going to call Lessons from the Lobster. Lessons from the Lobster. So while I'm on the rebounder this morning, getting started in my workout, I was listening to Dutch Sheets on the Give Him 15 app. Not heard of Dutch Sheets. He's a trustworthy, reliable, prophetic voice. And you can download the Give Him 15, as in 15 minutes app, or go to YouTube and search for Give Him 15. I highly recommend it. He's a wonderful prophetic voice. So today he was talking about a lot of things, but one of the things he did was he shared an illustration about the lobster. How the lobster, it's living its crustacean life on the seafloor, being the garbage collector and debris cleaner upper. But when he grows, his shell becomes tight, and what once was his protection will become his coffin if he stays in it too long. And, so at some point, at just the right time, he has to wiggle out of that. And then for a brief time, as the currents catch him and float him, he's vulnerable, and then he has to grow a new shell, which it's much stronger and it fits his appropriate size so that he can continue to grow. And then Dutch Sheets taught, as only he can, how that's a lot like us. We want to kind of stay inside our shell. We don't want to be vulnerable. We don't want to take risks and move out. We're kind of comfortable in our familiar spot. But often the provision of that place, the protection of that place, can become a prison if we're not careful, and ultimately a coffin that kind of ends our influence, so to speak. And so he's suggesting that we need to step out to find out. We've got to, if we're going to continue to grow, we've got to shed that familiar shell, and we need to move out in vulnerability to the new place that God may be leading us to, so that he can equip us with a new wineskin, so to speak, an expanded wineskin. Jesus talked about this, that new wine requires new wineskins. The old ones will burst. And so there needs to be a new wineskin and a new shell, so to speak. And so 3 takeaways that I have. And number 1 is that if we don't move out in faith, God's provision and protection can become our coffin. It just kills our influence, and we're done. We're kind of done growing. The second observation that I made was that, it takes faith to swim in hot water. And hot water is an acronym, HOT, honest, open, transparent vulnerability with other people. We need to, if we want to have hot communication with people, honest, open, transparent communication, we're going to have to be vulnerable. And often that opens new doors for us to be real. As Pastor Craig Rochelle likes to say, people would rather follow someone who is always real than someone who's always right. So it takes faith to have vulnerable conversation with other people. And then I think number 3, I'd like to submit to you that when we're through growing, we're through. Our voice of influence will become more and more silent and subtle until we stop speaking, because we're no longer relevant in people's lives, because we're not growing. So I encourage you to continue to grow, continue to go to church, continue to get outside your comfort zone, listen to new podcasts, watch new YouTube channels like Give Him 15 with Dutch Sheets. Read great books, classic books, and wonderful communicators. Listen to their podcasts today. There's so many different ways, more than ever, that we can continue to grow and get outside of our familiar path, and get onto greener pastures that can help us fortify our spirits and enrich our lives and expand our influence through growth. So, lessons from the lobster. Okay. It's kind of fun, but something to think about today. So for now, David, your virtual mentor, remind you that I'm always for you, never against you. Take care.